Remember when the ultimate underdog story was a skinny kid from Jersey learning karate from his apartment's handyman? And the training wasn't fancy or glamorous, it was chores. Waxing cars, painting fences, sanding decks. The Karate Kid hit theaters in 1984 and quickly became a phenomenon far beyond anyone's expectations. Ralph Macchio played Daniel LaRusso, a New Jersey transplant trying to navigate high school in the San Fernando Valley. His crush on Allie Mills, played by Elizabeth Shue, drew the attention of local karate champion Johnny Lawrence, portrayed by William Zabka. But the heart of the story was the unlikely mentor, Mr. Miyagi, played by Pat Morita, who earned an Oscar nomination for his role as the handyman, teaching Daniel that martial arts wasn't just about fighting, it was about balance, discipline, and even, apparently, home improvement, in a way that Tim Allen might have appreciated. The movie, made on a modest $8 million budget, went on to gross $131 million. Macchio became a teen idol, and an entire generation believed they could master karate with a combination of circular motions and elbow grease. Yet behind the crane kicks and wax on, wax off, wisdom was a wild behind-the-scenes story, a producer who couldn't see past a sitcom role, a leading man significantly older than his character, and a theme song Rocky passed on. Today, we're counting down 15 weird and wonderful facts about the Karate Kid. 15. The story came from real-life pain. Writer Robert Mark Kamen didn't pull this out of thin air. In 1964, he was beaten up at the New York World's Fair. The experience haunted him, and he vowed never again to be powerless. He began training in martial arts, starting with aggressive styles geared toward revenge, before discovering Okinawan Goju Ryu, a defensive form that focused on redirecting aggression. Sound familiar? That philosophy became Mr. Miyagi's core teaching. Kamen's script wasn't preachy, it was lived experience, distilled into cinematic form. The moral of the story: sometimes the best revenge comes in the form of a crane kick and a $130 million movie. 14. Ralph Macchio was 22 playing a high schooler. Macchio's convincing baby face fooled everyone. Originally named Daniel Weber, the character became Daniel LaRusso to match Macchio's Italian-American heritage. William Zabka, at 19, was closer in age to a teen, but most Cobra Kai members were well into their 20s. Macchio's youthful look became Hollywood lore, he played teenagers well into his late 20s. Fun fact, in the context of the story, Daniel was old enough to legally buy a beer, but the audience never questioned it. 13. Pat Morita almost didn't get the role. Before Mr. Miyagi became iconic, producer Jerry Weintraub refused to consider Morita, thinking of him only as Arnold from Happy Days. Director John Avildsen secretly recorded Morita's audition and played it at a production meeting, forcing Weintraub to admit he had been wrong. Interestingly, the filmmakers also considered Fumio Demura, a martial artist who trained Bruce Lee in nunchaku. Morita had the heart and nuance, Demura had the moves. Together, Morita and Demura created a character that felt authentic and enduring. 12. You're the Best was originally for Rocky III. That unforgettable tournament montage anthem was written for Sylvester Stallone but rejected in favor of Eye of the Tiger. Luckily, Kamen's team grabbed it for Daniel's Karate Showdown. The lyrics didn't perfectly match Daniel's story, he had only trained for a few months, but the energy fit perfectly, cementing its place in 80s pop culture. 11. Elizabeth Shue got cast thanks to a Burger King commercial. Before landing Ally, she was a college student working in TV commercials. One ad caught Avildsen's attention, and she nabbed the role over other contenders like Helen Hunt. She paused her Harvard studies for acting, eventually returning years later to finish her degree. A fast food commercial indirectly launched an Oscar-nominated career. 10. The crane kick took over 30 takes. Daniel's iconic final move wasn't easy. Exhausted and limping from a prior illegal hit, Macchio balanced on one leg while William Zabka timed the kick perfectly. Over 30 takes later, the scene captured the precise drama and tension that has kept audiences cheering for decades. 9. Sean Penn and Charlie Sheen were considered for Daniel. Before Macchio, the role bounced among several young actors including Sean Penn, Charlie Sheen, Tom Cruise, and Nicolas Cage. Sheen reportedly turned it down to honor a commitment to Grizzly II, while Penn opted for more serious dramatic roles. In hindsight, Macchio's vulnerability and charm made him irreplaceable. 8. Pat Morita designed the bonsai patch. That tiny bonsai emblem on Daniel's GI wasn't just wardrobe filler. Morita sketched it himself, reinforcing Miyagi's philosophy of roots, growth, and choosing your own path. Decades later, the design still adorns merchandise, a subtle but lasting mark of Morita's influence. 7. You can still visit Daniel's apartment complex. Many of the film's locations were real San Fernando Valley sites. Daniel's apartment, the beach where he meets Ally, and the junior high that served as his high school still exist. The All-Valley tournament was shot at Cal State Northridge, while Miyagi's house was built as a set complete with bonsai trees and a koi pond. The realism helped ground the story in a believable world. 6. The post-tournament parking lot scene took years to film. Originally scripted as a follow-up to the tournament finale, the scene featured John Kreese berating his students and being humiliated by Miyagi. Test audiences found it exhausting, so the studio shelved it. It later served as the opening for Karate Kid Part 2, adding continuity and reminding viewers that victory didn't solve everything. 5. Ralph Macchio still owns the trophy and car. Macchio kept the All-Valley Tournament trophy and the 1948 Ford Super Deluxe from the wax-on, wax-off training scenes. He even named his son Daniel, paying homage to the character who defined his career. Unlike many actors who distanced themselves from defining roles, Macchio embraced his legacy. 4. The book fixes a major plot hole. Why does Daniel's mom end up waitressing when she supposedly moved for a corporate job? The tie-in novel explains that her employer, Rocket Computers, went bankrupt, leaving the LaRusso family stranded in a modest apartment. This added layer of struggle gave Daniel's journey real stakes beyond mere relocation drama. 3. Coca-Cola product placement dominated the set. Thanks to Coca-Cola's ownership of Columbia Pictures in the 80s, brands like Coke, Sprite, and Minute Maid were integrated into the film. Macchio actively tried to obscure logos when possible, even covering a Sprite bottle with his hand. Interestingly, Clint Eastwood reportedly banned Coca-Cola from his own sets after negotiations for his son to play Daniel fell through, highlighting Hollywood's quirky behind-the-scenes politics. 2. The Karate Kid became a multi-generational franchise. The original film spawned sequels, spin-offs, a 2010 remake with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, and the critically acclaimed Cobra Kai series, which ran for 6 seasons through February 2025. Suddenly, a simple underdog story had decades of layered storytelling, showing that Daniel and Johnny's rivalry could evolve and resonate across generations. Karate Kid Legends, 2025, even reunited Macchio's Daniel with Chan's Mr. Han, connecting universes and delighting fans. 1. Ralph Macchio knew zero karate when filming. When Macchio arrived on set, he could barely throw a punch. His prior experience was tap dancing, which helped with coordination and timing. Under the guidance of choreographer Pat E. Johnson, Macchio learned precise movements for each scene. The Cobra Kai actors trained aggressively, creating authentic tension on screen. Over decades, Macchio continued practicing, eventually earning a real black belt in April 2025, finally turning the fictional crane kick into a genuine martial arts achievement. 41 years after the crane kick first captivated audiences, The Karate Kid remains an enduring cultural touchstone. From a story born of real-life pain to choreographed perfection, from Burger King commercials to black belts, it's a film with layers, surprises, and a legacy that spans generations. Wax on. Wax off. Sweep the leg. And, apparently, always make sure your theme song lands in the right movie.